Guten Morgen, Refuge Nation.
Good morning.
Herr Bear.
Really? Is this how we're starting?
Ja, jawohl, mein Kommandant.
Care Bear.
Herr Bear.
Mike.
Herr
Michael.
Michael.
Choose.
What's up? I'm T, and this is Mike. We're with refugemedical.com or nephewsradical.corn, depending on what kind of day we're having today. We're going to talk about medical preparedness today. We'll also take in some questions from the chat, while also making you aware of some upcoming opportunities that we have for you. And just kind of hang out this morning. It's our typical Thursday morning live stream. We just got back from where?
Kentucky Sustainable Living.
What do we do at KSL?
We did all kinds of cool stuff. We taught 40 plus students on how not to die,
We did.
and they were very thankful, actually.
It was a good class.
Yeah, it was.
We had I think we ended up talking to every single student that was there at some point. We talked to
Nice.
every human that was there. It was a good event.
Yes.
But one of the consistent pieces of feedback, I got two actually, consistent pieces of feedback. One was, wow, there was way more in that class than I thought there was going to be. I'm like, yeah, we could sit here and do reps on tourniquets for 4 hours, and we make you do tourniquet reps, but like, I would rather teach. I don't want to just do monkey stuff.
Yep.
I'd rather teach, give you some medicine, give you some understanding, empower you so that when you leave, you can go help somebody else learn. And so that was the first bit of feedback, was that was a lot. It's like for a 4-hour class, that was a lot. Yeah, welcome. We kind of like to teach in the drinking from a fire hose method.
Yep.
And then the other bit that I got was because we had our infrastructure was a whiteboard and 2 decent expo markers and a little podium.
Funny story. One of the students went to Walmart after the lunch break and bought us 2 packs of markers.
Yes,
He goes,
thank you.
for your next class, a sucky mark. I was like, oh, thanks, bro.
But we didn't. It was billed as and presented as a bleeding control class, and we ended up teaching SMRT instead. So like a 4.5-hour block of lecture and practical application on massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, expose, evaluate, evacuate, elevate, differential diagnosis on patients, triage, casevac, medevac, et cetera, et cetera.
All the things.
All the things, right? And so that was the other bit of feedback, was like, you guys did such a great job for just having a whiteboard and 2 expo markers. It's like, thanks, man. And so I like events like that because it's like, do you really know? Or like for us as instructors, do you really know, or do we have to have the curriculum up on the PowerPoint, on the television or projector, and we have to have all of our stuff? It's like, no, if you can teach it sitting in the grass with a stick, you can teach it,
We
right?
used to do stuff like that when I was in the Marine Corps. We call them hip pocket classes, and we'd have to give them a period of instruction for like 35, 40 minutes, and they would have to sit there and write in their little write in the rain notebooks and
Yep.
take docs information.
And that's what I enjoyed about that. We also got to baptize for, I think, about 3 hours
Yep.
total. It was 2 different spurts of about 3 hours, which was super cool.
There was some deep releases on some of those people.
Yeah, it was awesome. There was
Yeah.
lots of tears. It was a good event, a really good event. Thankful to be home again, although it's short-lived, because we're about to be on the road again. We've got 125 law enforcement officers to train in another state, and so that'll be a week of 5 classes of 25 officers a day. In fact, I've been playing phone tag with one of the guys this morning from a logistics standpoint.
Nice.
He just texted me. He's like, hey, I tried to call you. I was like, cool, I'm in the middle of something. I'll call you back. So this is the thing we're in the middle of. Medical preparedness is a comprehensive approach to preparing for and responding to various emergencies and disasters that can affect public health. It involves a range of activities, including planning, training, resource management, and collaboration to ensure a coordinated and effective response to both natural and human-made events. I want to touch on that for us. A lot of people that follow Refuge Medical also follow me. There's not 100% overlap anymore, which is wonderful. That's good. That means the company's growing. But preparedness is a thing I've been talking about on the internet for the last 7 or so years, and it's something that I've been doing in my personal life for the last 20 plus years. And so when we look at medical preparedness, comprehensive approach, we could just start with that. For preparing for and responding to various emergencies and disasters. It involves a range of activities, including planning. How many people have a medical plan? Most people don't have a med plan. If then, it's pretty basic. If then, if this thing happens, then we will do this. And that could be as simple as, oh no, major laceration to my arm. What's the plan? Throw a tourniquet on it and elevate. That's the plan. And it can get way more complex than that. We go, we're going to be on the road, like I said, training. When we go to a training event, part of that is we have a med plan. If we have a real world emergency, what do we do? Which most people think one layer deep. And they're like, well, you're the refuge guys. You'll solve it. Yeah.
Got a problem? I'll solve it. Sorry.
That's so on the Triage side, that's what they call a role one. You're the person who's there at the point of injury. And then what? Hey, quick question. Are you a vascular surgeon?
No,
Do you have an OR prepped and ready to go?
I do not.
Do you work at a level 1 trauma center?
I do not.
Do you currently have a helicopter in your back pocket I don't know about?
I sure don't.
Okay. Right, so there's other people and there's other capabilities that we want to ensure access to so that we can ensure the highest likelihood rate of success for the patient. So can we do cool stuff in the field? Yeah, absolutely. We can do cool stuff in the field. Do I want my patient to remain in the field? No, absolutely not. In fact, on the, how shall I parse these terms? We have TCCC, Triage, Tactical Combat Casualty Care. That assumes the golden hour. That assumes 60 minutes rather, from the point of injury to elevation, higher level of care. More caffeine is indicated. If we don't have that, we have PFC, prolonged field care, also called PCC, prolonged casualty care. The first goal of prolonged field care, the top objective of prolonged field care is to get out of prolonged field care. I want to do medicine in the field as little as possible. I need to elevate as quickly as possible. And so if we go back to planning for us on the civilian side, you should have a first aid kit. More importantly, you should know how to use it. And you should have a real kit and real training to go with it. Not, I bought some cheap garbage off of Amazon and I watched a YouTube video.
I think a lot of people get stuck in the mindset as, well, it's in my car or it's in my kitchen, and they feel safe because it's in their realm of possession, but probably never opened it up.
Yeah, probably never opened up. I agree. What about, so let's take a different approach on this. Do you have a firearm? Yes, I have a firearm on me right now, as does Mike. Are there other firearms elsewhere? Yes, of course. What do you mean, of course? I know for some of y'all, mind blown on the left coast and the east coast. What do you mean? You have a gun on you right now? Uh-huh.
There are at least 3 guns in this building right now, 'cause there's 3 people.
At least 3 guns in this building. And I have more than that in my truck, which is right there. But here's my point. Let's say you had a firearm for your home, and somebody breaks in, and your firearm's in the other room.
Locked up in a safe.
Locked up in a safe, where you got with that little handy thing, right? That little, what are they called? Personal safety device, whatever.
The vault.
Yeah, the vault, that's what it is, right? And you got to get it out, insert the magazine, rack the slide, present the weapon, go to work.
That's too long.
It's too long. It's too long. For a home invasion, violent home invasion, that's too long.
World's crazy,
You're
yo.
a statistic now. So, which are you more likely to use? I carry a gun every day, every single day. I have shot plenty of snakes and coyotes and possums and raccoons and injured animals and feral dogs that are trying to eat my livestock. Turkeys, yeah, I've shot turkeys. I've shot all kinds of things. I've not yet had to shoot a human being that was trespassing or presenting a threat to my family. Praise the Most High. How much medicine have I had to do? It's almost constant. It's almost weekly. The Father is putting me somewhere where there's somebody, and I'm not counting boo-boos. If you have children, boo-boos are a constant, right? It's almost weekly where there's a motor vehicle accident, a workplace injury, something like that's happening where I'm like, yep, I'm glad I have this thing on me. And so if the gun in the other room during a violent home invasion doesn't pass the sniff test, the first aid kit over there somewhere that we don't actually know how to use doesn't pass the sniff test.
Or the first aid kit in the white Ford F-250 that is 8,000 miles that way.
Right.
Well, and how many times have we seen someone who has a first aid kit and then we look and their tourniquet's still in the package?
Oopsie.
Oh, that happens all the time. I don't know if you guys can hear Lauren, but she said, how many times have we seen somebody that has a first aid kit and the tourniquet is still in the package? So planning, right? Comprehensive medical preparedness involves a range of activities, including planning, training, resource management, and collaboration. Collaboration with who? Somebody that knows more than me, for sure. And that you might think like, well, how does that help? Telemedicine is huge on the battlefield. Telemedicine is a really big deal, where you're going to have somebody like a corpsman or a combat medic that has a casualty and they have capabilities on them, but they don't know what to do next. Well, they have a way to contact somebody that knows more than they do. Usually it's a tablet with cell service or internet service via Starlink or something like that.
It'll be a SAT device for sure.
SAT device, so you can get on the horn with Doc and say, what do I do? And they're gonna be like, okay, open up, do you have that PDF that I sent you? Yep, I've got it. Okay, open that up, go to page 368. See that? Yep, I see that. Cool. I'm gonna talk you through that protocol, yada, yada, yada. And now they're doing
Battlefield surgery.
They're doing,
in a sense.
Yeah, medical interventions that are literally above their pay grade because they're the only person who's there that can do it. How do we take that concept and apply that to us? Well, for us right now, we have 911. And it's actually one of the things I want to touch on this morning as far as 911 is concerned. Hey, man, you ever been on one end of the 911 system?
Yep.
Yeah. How'd that go for you?
It was a crazy ride. I mean, depending on the call. I mean, I always would say that there is so much stupidity in the world, I would never need a job ever. Job security. I mean, literally. But that was, again, big city life. But yes, I've seen some things.
Now, one of the things we talk about in class is everybody has a first day, right? So you were a paramedic in Vegas. You didn't start that way.
Nope.
Right?
Started at the bottom.
Started at the bottom.
Crawl, walk, run.
What would you say, honestly, your capabilities were when you first started?
Honestly, shut the F up and watch what I do. No.
Yeah.
No, as a basic EMT, I took vital signs. I would assist my paramedic in, if he was controlling the airway, because medics always usually at the head doing the airway stuff, I would be doing the trauma stuff, the stuff that I could see.
Right.
'Cause I wasn't allowed to do anything invasive. I wasn't allowed to poke holes at that point. So if there was blood coming out, I would do the tourniquet or the ETD or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I would put the patient in the proper positioning, basically whatever my medic told me to do. But it was the stuff that I could see and it wasn't invasive.
And you had background in that even before you got in to pre-hospital professional medicine
Yep.
because you were a doctor of Marines.
Correct.
Right, which is not the story for most people.
No.
So you were probably more qualified. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you were more qualified than most EMT basics.
One of the things that one of my instructors told me, or actually, anyways, she's someone I worked with at the college, and she told me before I even went to medic school, she goes, "You're already a paramedic. You just need to get that stupid piece of paper."
Yeah.
So I was like, that hit me in the field because I was like, oh wow, I'm actually doing a good job. So
that's awesome.
yeah,
But you know more than civilians know,
sure,
right? And you know more than the average civilian knows.
sure.
And even if the ambulance arrives, everybody has a first day. Now let's rewind. You may remember there was the whole world got sick at the same time, right around 2019. Everybody got the cough. And there was some cough medicine that was being mandated by certain, what would you call it, agencies, organizations, people groups. In order to remain in their employ, you had to take the cough medicine.
Was it an injectable cough medicine?
Yeah, it was a very, very novel injectable
The
cough
pokey poke.
medicine.
Yep.
And a lot of people said, no, I'm not doing that. As a result, just reading here from an article that I found. Yes, there are indicators suggesting a decline in emergency medical services, EMS, since 2019, primarily driven by workforce shortages and increased demands. Key findings include workforce decline as much as 45% since 2019, depending on your jurisdiction. Increased demand and strain. Despite the reduction in workforce, the demand for emergency medical care continues to rise. Nearly 60% of EMS agencies nationwide report insufficient staffing to meet 911 call demands. 60% of agencies nationwide don't have enough people to meet the demand of the 911 calls. Delayed response times. This shortage leads to delayed response times, potentially increasing risks for patients in critical need. Longer response times are associated with worse patient outcomes, especially in time-sensitive situations. There's 4 minutes is a number that comes up over and over and over and over again. 4 minutes for a cardiac arrest to restart the heart. 4 minutes till all the blood inside of your body leaks out. 4 minutes that the brain can go without oxygenated blood before we start having problems. It's 4 minutes over and over again. So if you don't know bleeding control, CPR, AED, and if you're not intervening at the point of injury within 4 minutes, the outcome of that patient is grim. There was just a gentleman left a comment yesterday, said words to the effect of, you're right, everybody does need kits, everybody does need training, but they need good kits and they need good training because you as the bystander on site, your ability to intervene, and if you intervene well, absolutely increases the survivability of that patient. If you intervene poorly, you're doing more harm than good, which means there's a minimum standard that we need to get all people on planet Earth trained up to be able to intervene well. That's, in a nutshell, bleeding control, CPR, AED, which to us is like, it's like 2 + 2 is 4. This is just basic stuff.
It's our everyday life. I mean, it's
But
normal.
that's the other thing.
It's normal. It's normal for us.
Yeah, we have a huge, nice try, helmet. You can't give up on me. We have a huge normalcy bias because we do it every day. We teach it to people every day. But, you know, we take for granted what we know as that's just normal. But if you look at like, you know, there's a technology company that we're quoting work for right now. They are, and I mean no disrespect when I say this. In fact, it's honorific. They're like, the nerdiness of these individuals and their technical expertise is so high that just their ability to send emails intimidates me. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are incredible at emailing. That's their skill set. That's what they're good at. They Yeah, they've got 4 screens open. They look like that chick from NCIS, you know, in the
Well, I'm
dark
sure
room.
they're gamers on their off time with their 4 screens also.
Probably. Not my gifting,
No,
right?
Same.
I don't email. Me no email real good. Me smash rock with stick.
Captain Caveman.
But when it comes to this stuff that we do, it's a no-brainer to us. Where it was interesting, the inverse happened when we started talking to them about what we do, where they were the ones who were uncomfortable. Where it's like, I should probably dumb this down a little bit. Me smash rock with stick. Put blue thing on owie part, have blood come out. Turn stick tight, no blood come out. So,
This is gonna be a new series.
okay, man. Yeah.
Use many words when few words do the trick.
So, delayed response times, burnout and turnover, high intensity work, long hours, exposure to traumatic events contribute to burnout and increased turnover rates among EMS professionals. National surveys indicate a jump in EMS turnover rates from 8% in 2019 to around 11% in 2022. And then financial struggles. Many EMS agencies, particularly in rural areas, face financial difficulties leading to staffing and resource limitation. This disparity in funding can impact access to adequate care in some regions. And I will reiterate, the county that I live in, the county EMS service owns 8 ambulances. 3 of them run. 3. So.
Remember that time they put diesel or gas in?
Oh,
Remember they
that
ruined all the
never
ambulances here?
happens. So I can tell you, coming from that world, that when I would have brand new kids in class, they were Hollywooding the thought of what it was like to be on the fire truck or the ambulance, as far as, oh my God, all this
Keep
cool
talking.
stuff going with smack, bang, boom, blow up. And then they get out there and there's so much crap going on and so much bad things, you know, whether it's a baby or a child or domestic violence or a car accident or whatever, they can't handle the gore on one side of it. And then it becomes, especially like if you have back-to-back cardiac arrests, that's a long thing that we do when we're doing the CPR, giving you all the cardiac medications. But if you do like 3 or 4 of those back-to-back, that mentally messes you up, especially if it's a child you're doing CPR on.
Yep.
Then on top of that, EMS is the pond scum of the medical world. We are treated like garbage. We don't get the respect because we don't have credentials like the nurses and the doctors do, even though we go through, you know, at a paramedic, it's at least a year, a minimum a year and a half, if not 2 years of school, which is about the equivalent of an associate's degree of nursing. So we also have protocols and standing orders from our physicians that we work under, where nurses can't do the things that we can do in the field because they're in the hospital already under the doctor. So, but again, that being said, the EMS providers do not get paid what they're worth because a lot of them don't have that piece of paper, even though they have the knowledge and do this stuff day in, day out, get 3 hours of sleep a day, especially if they're on a 24-hour truck. They're not compensated very well at all. So that's another reason why a lot of people leave, because they get their feet wet in EMS, and then hopefully they're either transitioning to nursing school or PA school or even med school, and then some trade that medical stuff in to go to the law enforcement side. Because depending with the counties and the cities, you get a PER system, which is a retirement, not a 401k. So there's monetary things that are involved, but EMS as a whole, it's a great job, but the politics of it and the bureaucracy is what kicks our butts.
Yep. You know, we've trained a lot of people. We at Refuge have trained a lot of people that have fancy pieces of paper.
Yep.
And they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. It's like, yeah, nothing about what we do is done in a sterile field.
Nope.
None of it. If there's any sterility, it's for us. It's not for the patient. Like, it's dirt medicine. It's all before the hospital. There's nothing is clean and white and well lit. There's no forms. There's no, the intake process. You don't have to beep on the little computer. There's none of that. It's like, this is, oh shit, I gotta fix this right now or this person dies.
On top of that, depending on where this person lives, you can't tell you how many campers I've been into, or single wide trailers, or hoarder houses or whatever, the cat ladies.
Yep.
I mean, it smells like a bat cave in there. Whatever smell you can think of, I've experienced it.
Yep.
It's disgusting, and
Yep.
we get exposed to that every day that we go on a call. You know, obviously there was nice houses and but it was. I mean,
So
we're definitely in the nasty dirt.
from the National Institutes of Health, Bethesda, Maryland, for those that are unaware, that's kind of like the top tier federal medicine. Would you?
I know.
Don't be a quitter.
I was getting caffeine.
It's fine. We need another prop for this. So the NIH did a global study on the effects of COVID-19 on EMS. And what's interesting, I've been, and of course it's your taxpayer dollars at work. I've been reading through this thing. I hate it when they write these reports because they're written to impress the other people with funny numbers, and so there's data buried in there, but there's a huge lack of brevity. Like these reports are so long. It's almost like they get paid per word or something like that.
Most of it's fluff too.
It is. We analyzed the number of emergency calls, EMS operations, and how those relate to specific diagnoses. The long and short of this report was that cardiac arrest is up 60%. 60% increase in cardiac arrest. I wonder why. However, EMS globally, number of personnel is decreased 58%. So that's a huge swing. The number of people who are available to respond has gone down 58%, and the number of cardiac arrests, emergent cardiac arrests requiring EMS has gone up 60%.
That's why we keep saying you are your own first responder.
That's exactly right. So if we take this back to a medical preparedness standpoint, a comprehensive approach for preparing for and responding to various emergencies and disasters that can affect public health involves a range of activities, including planning. What is your plan? Because yes, we can call 911. We should, on the civilian side, call 911. But it may be a minute before they get there. It's part of why we've started introducing more and more into our classes, what does triage look like? Even in the level 1, because I might have multiple patients and I might only get one ambulance, and I might get that ambulance an hour from now, not within 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. And in a mass casualty scenario, we were also quoting work for another organization in another state, say in the North Midwest. And the facility that we'll be training at has a professional fire and EMS corps within 8 minutes. So I'm talking to them, they're like, we're all rescue certified, we've got a bunch of paramedics, we've got this is how many ambulances we have. I was like, that's awesome. What about a mass cas? And the guy was like, what? Like, what about mass casualty event? Because you've got this school here and you got this big company here, there's an airport here, what about that? He's like, huh. And so a mass casualty event, there's, you think about this, most people hear this and they think 9/11, they think gigantic school shooting, God forbid. They think tornado hits a college, which happened over here in Arkansas 2 years ago. That could never happen to me. A level 1 mass cas starts at 5 or more patients. It's 5. It's a minivan. And so while it's been codified how many, 5 is a level 1, 10 is a level 2, up to 25, 50, 500, etc. We've got a level 5 mass cas. That's tornado hits school. That's in session. That's a bad problem. But a level 1 is level 1 mass cas is 5 patients or more. So that's a minivan. That's an SUV. Okay, in a motor vehicle accident. The actual definition of a mass casualty event is any event that occurs that overwhelms EMS's ability to respond to it. So in this county here, where we have 8 ambulances, but 3 of them run, 3 of them are operable. A motor vehicle accident that requires transport of patients that exceed 3 patients is now a mass casualty event. Hopefully that makes sense. So this goes back to planning. What's our plan? I can call 911. I should call 911 because when I get the 911 operator, when I get dispatch on the line, I can start telling dispatch what I need. If it's motor vehicle accident, I need law enforcement for traffic control, and I need that first because I only got 3 ambulances to work with. I don't want to, right now I need 2. I don't want to end up needing 7 because cars continue smashing into each other. So get me law enforcement for traffic control first, then I need ambulances, then I need wreckers, usually in that order. Although, if I know, right here, I know there's only 3 ambulances and I got 9 patients, I need helicopters. We're gonna land the helicopters right over here in this mega church parking lot. But I also need a way to move patients from the accident, from the scene to where the helicopters are at. And you're probably thinking to yourself, I'm just, insert thing here. I'm just a man or a woman or a guy or a girl just bebopping through my life. Everything's fine.
Until it's not.
Until it's not. And see, the degradation of complex systems tends to occur slowly and imperceptibly until they don't work anymore. And then you get caught with your pants down. This just happened with the United States nuclear forces getting hacked with a data breach from Microsoft via Chinese hackers. They're like, it's the nuclear weapons. Of course everybody's paying attention to the nuclear weapons. Nope. Big complicated systems, they degrade gradually over time, almost imperceptibly until they just don't work anymore. And so we need a plan, and that plan should be call 911. But it also looks like I need to have the skills and equipment to use them definitely in between when I call and when 911 arrives, but also potentially for longer than that because I may only get 1 ambulance right now and I got 3 casualties. What's up, Lauren?
Okay, so I turned my mic on. Turn my mic on so maybe you guys can hear me, but we had a couple of comments that came in. Number 1, somebody mentioned how they will run towards the issue, but now you've got people who are reporting everything.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they want their
So,
5 seconds of fame on
yeah.
Instagram or whatever.
And then Francesco is here.
What's
So
up, Team
Sarah, Matt,
Francesco?
a bunch of people. He said that learning triage was very helpful, something he didn't consider but essential. And in sport, there tends to be a lot of injuries at once. Think pile up, like
Yep.
bike crashes
Yep.
and stuff. He said, but most aren't critical, right? So like learning, oh my God, there's 50 people in front of me. Like find the one who's the worst off,
Sure.
Yeah.
not just the first person you see.
Who's the one who's got the handlebars through their chest? That's the one, not the guy who scraped his knee.
We actually just had an 8 rendered come in with a guy who had a Cub Kit Pro. So he's been with us for a while. And it was an 8-year-old little girl who had crashed on her bike and the bar went through her thigh.
Yep, I saw that pic.
Grody. So
Grody.
be prepared.
That's great feedback, Francesco. I hadn't thought about that. This may come as a surprise to y'all. I don't run marathons. In fact, I have a personal vendetta against running in general. Probably, I can tell you what it is. It was 2-a-days on the football team in the summer as a kid growing up. I'm gonna go out there, put these pads on in the summer heat and run twice in one day. It's like, nah, I'm good. So, in any event.
Good on you, Francesco.
Yeah,
for
good
running.
on you. Francesco, listen, you handle the running, I'll handle everything else, okay? So training, resource management, planning, training, resource management, and collaboration. So when we think about that, planning, what's my med plan? Just do a med plan. What are the hospitals around you and what are their capabilities? And how do you get there? So plan routes, at least a primary and an alternate route to each one of these hospitals. This is something you can do today on your lunch break, a little Google foo and a notepad, figure this information out.
When I used to travel before I moved out here, whether I was going to Utah to go camping or going to Montana to visit my sister, I knew every single hospital along that route in case me and my wife and my puppies got hurt. So
half a year or so ago, Squish, my youngest, had a really high fever, like 105, wasn't coming down, really high fever. And so about 2 o'clock in the morning, um, we go to the hospital. And so we were on our way to the hospital, but there's a really good uh, urgent care. It's like urgent care plus over here in Fort Smith. And I'm like, do we need a full blown hospital or can we go over there? And I've had some imaging done over there, so I like those people. They're good people. And so I call them, and I'm on the phone with the intake nurse, and I'm like, yep, this is TJ Morris. I'm eastbound headed to you. Approximate ETA is 28 minutes from now. I have a patient, 1 year old, fever of 105.2, fluids, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, hold on, are you an ambulance? And I was like,
no.
no, I'm a dad. She starts laughing. She goes, you're not a normal dad. I was like, no, I'm not a normal dad. This is what I've got. Do I come to you or do I go to the hospital? And her response was basically like, you can come here, but if she needs to see a specialist, we don't have a specialist. You'll end up having to transport her anyway. Okay, fair. So we'll just go straight to the hospital. Thanks. But I was able to just present that information in such a manner that she thought I was professional medical services.
Yeah, we call that giving a patch or telemetry to the hospital when we're coming in with something bad.
Yep.
It's not the 9-line thing.
No, it's not. That's
all
not
military.
the 9-line.
That's
thing.
military.
9 lines on DoD side.
Yeah.
So do a med plan. Where are the hospitals around me? Where are the doctors around me? What pre-existing conditions do you have? Does your family have? Do your friends have? And then what pre-existing medications and capabilities do you have to treat those conditions here? What do we have? And so part of that is the resource management element of this. You got to have the stuff to do the things. If you don't have the stuff, you can't do the things. We're going to go have a range day. Okay, you show up to the range, you have no ammunition. That's a very short range day.
Pew, 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 pew.
Well, I shot one magazine. I'm good to go for the year. Thanks. It's like, yeah, but you missed all of them. Doesn't matter. I squeezed the trigger. It made the sounds. We're good to go. Don't bring, by the way, if you're coming to refuge class and you carry a SIG P320, you're not coming to refuge class. You're going to have to leave that thing in the car, okay?
Well, you're not getting through the front door anyway.
Just no. Just no. So, planning, training, resource management, and collaboration. Planning is the med plan. Training, basic stuff, CPR, AED, bleeding control. Start there, and you can do that in class with us. You can do that. There's lots of people that do that. If you want to do that in class with us, you could, you should, but what we teach is significantly more than that. Like I said, at the Kentucky Sustainable Living class, every student was like, that was way more than I thought we were going to be doing.
And a lot of people think that they can't do it. They think that it's too much. It's really common sense. It's, you know, especially if you're a mom or a dad and you got littles, you're going to kick into mommy or daddy mode anyways. You might as well know exactly what you're doing. But it's really not, it's not scary.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's a great word. And that's, so we also had a gentleman in class who was missing part of his leg, had a prosthetic. I always love it when there's people like that in class, right? And he was a great sport about it. We took pics together, hung out a little bit, the whole nine. And, you know, I was like, hey, tourniquet's hurt. And he's like, yep. I was like, would you rather have not had the pain of the tourniquet on but died? Or would you rather have had the tourniquet on? Yeah, you lost part of your leg, not because of the tourniquet, because of the injury that required the tourniquet. And that's really important. You lost part of your leg, but you're still here. You've got a wife. I think they said they had 10 kids.
Yeah.
10 kids? I'm like, man, you must really like your wife. You know, granted, she seemed cool, but they, you know, he's got 10 kids and a wife. Great guy, great. And so He was in class. Why does that matter? Because we applied tourniquets to our legs and walked around, and he did it with one leg, and he was fine. You know, it's not, especially like the responder one class or the essential, not the essential responder, the refuge responder, the 1 day class. There, we will push your comfort levels a little bit to make you uncomfortable. And some of the things that we make you do are uncomfortable, but they're not dangerous.
Nope.
And part of that is stress inoculation, because when you get into the longer classes like the essential responder, wilderness responder, night responder, some of the longer classes, where we begin scenario-based training, or the whole thing scenario-based training. Like wilderness responder, we're training in situation for 3 days straight. There's 16 different scenarios that we'll be doing while we're in situ, while teaching the 36-hour comprehensive wilderness curriculum. You need to get past being uncomfortable. That's called stress inoculation.
We're going camping. Come on, how bad can it be?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, really.
It's not.
There are really people who hate camping. I'm not one of them.
I'm just saying, you know, I don't know. It's hard for me. I get it from the people over there looking at us. This was my life, and you know, it's a muscle memory for me. But it's really not hard, and as far as the scenario-based stuff or the camping we're going to be doing.
I've toyed with the idea, I've toyed with the idea of doing an intro to camping class, like in the fall, late fall, for people that have never been camping. They want to, they don't know how. And so there's all these barriers to entry. There's all these stumbling blocks, like set up your tent. I've never set up a tent before. Well, let's just make a fire and make some s'mores. And they're like, I don't know how to make a fire. I don't understand how fire works. You know, like all those little things. I've toyed with that. And literally, like, say it was like a 3-day class, right? Like day 1, we're going to just set up tents. And all different kinds of tents, from little pop-ups to a wall tent, right? And then we'll have all sleeping options, from 3/8-inch foam pad on the ground up to this big luxury cot. You could try it.
Or the air mattress.
Fire,
Yeah.
like how to boil water.
Yeah, air mattress, exactly. All those things. You know, here's 10 different camp chair styles. You know, just try it out. And then like, so it'd be like a 3-day thing. So like day 1, we set it all up. Day 2,
101.
what's that?
Camping 101.
Camping 101, for real. And day 2, like, and it's no judgment, no shame. Like, I get it. Like maybe camping wasn't a thing your family did as a kid, or maybe you didn't know your dad, or maybe you grew up in the city, or whatever. Or maybe you always wanted to and the opportunity never presented itself, and now you're like, I don't know how to go camping. And see, here's the thing. Camping is supposed to be relaxing, you de-stress, the whole 9.
Get away from technology.
Yeah.
That's, I think, one of the biggest hurdles for people. They're so used to their technology. They're so used
Yeah,
to having that. They cannot not be or connected to the
There's no
internet.
service. Yeah, I know. Talk to that person on the other side of the fire. Yes, Lauren.
Sarah says, please do it. Want to come to wilderness, but it may be too advanced for me.
No, it's not.
Sarah needs to come to wilderness.
It's not advanced. It's really common sense.
Give her the hands.
I'm telling you, it's not.
Well,
we're not going to make you do anything that.
So-
we're going to teach it to you if you don't know it.
So let me finish the camping 101. Day 1, we set everything up. Day 2, we do the fire, the water, the cooking, and then we sleep over from day 2 into day 3. And then day 3, we pack everything up, and it's like, how was it? It was great. You know, now here's intro to camping. This is how we camp, right? With wilderness, the whole thing is instruction. So if you don't know how to make a poncho hooch, like poncho or tarp is on the packing list, the expectation is not necessarily that you know 11 different ways to make a poncho hooch. I do. I really only use 2 different ways. It depends on, and that depends on ambient temperature and rainfall. That's it. And so if you don't know, we'll teach you. It's as simple as that. The whole thing is instruction. Down to the nitty-gritty details of when we run our ridge line through here, we're going to use this knot and this hitch. Here's how you tie that knot. Here's how you tie this hitch. And the student to instructor ratio for wilderness is extreme. There's going to be 6 instructors here. There's no more than 20 seats for wilderness, 10 of which are already sold. And so if you want to come to wilderness, you need to, I'm talking to everybody now, if you want to come to wilderness, you need to come to wilderness. Go ahead and sign up. I understand it's not a small cost. However, I can tell you this.
Break it up.
There are other we met with an organization that teaches wilderness medicine while we were out in Cody, Wyoming. Their wilderness class is $17,000.
Yep.
$17,000, and they're booked for a couple of years. Okay, so yes, is it a $2,500 class with us? It is. $500 of that is the kit that you get, the trainer kit that goes home with you. It's a comprehensive wilderness kit. It's a very good kit.
Bag is so nice.
It's gorgeous.
I really like that kit.
And so you can break it into payments. You can use a firm, or you can call the store and break it into payments. But that class is already half sold. It's going to sell. So you should come to Wilderness. And if you don't know these things, you just don't know them, that's okay. We're there to teach you. And for 20 students, there will be 6 instructors. So student to instructor ratio will not exceed 3 students per instructor, which is great because when it comes to practicals, we can break into 4-person teams, 3 students and instructor. And all right, everybody break. We're gonna go do casualty carries. No, we gotta run scenarios. We're gonna do all these different things. So
to Sarah's point, it's not advanced, but there is some physicality to it. You definitely need to be in in decent shape. I mean, if you can lift your 2-year-old and your 3-year-old and hold it on your hip all day long while you're at the grocery store, you can do this.
yeah,
You know, granted, you're going to have to carry a backpack with a little bit of weight on it for a mile or two to the campsite. That's probably going to be the most physical thing you do, minus doing some carries, but
Yeah,
it's really not hard.
And let's explain this too. How am I gonna do this? Okay, once we're at camp, we drop rucks. We make camp.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I have a chest rig, and I have my wilderness day pack as well. That's the training kit that you get. So I can carry all the things I need for me to teach, as well as stay watered, stay hydrated, keep calories in me, make fire, cut cordage, but it's on me. And I go from a 75-pound loadout to a 25-pound loadout once we're at camp, drop rucks, everything's good to go. And if I need something out of my ruck as we're coming and going from the teaching area and the practicals area, which there are several of, back and forth from camp, stop at your ruck, pick that thing up. This is not militant. I want to be clear about that. It's not militant. If you need to go use the restroom, which there ain't one, but if you need to go use the restroom, go use the restroom. You need to get water, go get water. You need to lie down, go lie down. Okay, it's not boot camp. I want to be clear on that. The goal is to teach.
That's night responder.
Night responder is a little bit different. I will ambush your ass in night responder with a smile on my face.
That was a different scenario too.
That was a very different scenario. That's TAC med. That was tactical medicine.
This is not tactical medicine.
No, this is wilderness medicine. The reason on the packing list is a rifle and 3 magazines is because most of the people within the sound of my voice have some level of preparedness mindset. And I want you to see what it feels like to carry just 3 days of sustainment and a relatively small, I mean, it's compared to a stomp bag, a relatively small med kit.
Because what if you do have to ruck home, your car breaks down outside of town and it's a day hike, 2-day hike, a week hike.
Or the Democrats and Republicans start World War III/Civil War II, and there is a legitimate degradation of society down to, well, we're it. Mike's my resupply and I'm his resupply. Okay, we're here now. So just carry 3 days worth of sustainment, some basic tools, basic shelter, and a rifle and 3 magazines. That's it. Because most of the people I run into have this mindset of they're going to carry 12 to 16 magazines and 2 canteen-fulls of water and a little bit of sustainment stuff and a rucksack filled with claymores and C4 and a radio, and that's it. They can do the things forever.
And you're gonna be well over 100 pounds that you're not gonna be able to take more. You're gonna run about a football field like, yep, I'm done.
Yep. Mobility. It's, shoot, move, communicate, sustain. Move. It doesn't matter if you can shoot if you can't move. It doesn't matter if you can communicate if you can't move. It doesn't mean if you can sustain if you can't move. You got to be able to move with all that stuff on you. And so you don't have to bring a rifle. You don't have to bring 3 magazines. We moved that from required to recommended. I think you should if you can, just for the experience of carrying that thing around for 3 days. And here's another thing. There's lots of people that have ruined Eugene Stoner's 6.5-pound rifle and made it 11 pounds by bolting all kinds of crap onto it, which might be fine if you're using it for an hour at the flat range. When you're walking around with it all the time, you're like, this thing is heavy, and all this heaviness isn't really contributing to the capabilities that I actually need. That's why it says on there, rifle with optic, sling, and weapons light. It doesn't say magnifier and PEC 15 and vertical grip and
ACOG.
bipod and ACOG and 45-degree offset dot sight and suppressor. It doesn't say any of that. It doesn't say any of that. It says optic, sling, weapons light.
Kevin Timmer said, take a bucket toilet to sit on. No, that's why you got a poop shovel.
Well, if you want to hump that poop bucket in on top of your backpack, granted, it's
Hump
so
it
big.
back out again.
Yeah, I mean that's just an awkward shape to attach to your backpack.
And it's gonna weigh more going in than it is coming out. And if you spill that thing,
oh no, I'll dig a hole and then bury it.
so let's just recap real quick. Medical preparedness, just 30,000-foot overview. Comprehensive approach to preparing for and responding to various emergencies and disasters that can affect public health. It involves a range of activities including planning, training, resource management, and collaboration to ensure a coordinated and effective response to both natural and human-made, man-made events. So, your homework for today is to be thinking about what do you have, what can you bring to bear for planning, training, resource management, that's really important, and collaboration. If/when, the world doesn't have to end. Grindstone is literally in Texas on a flood, and not our first flood, okay? And tornadoes, hurricanes, fires, floods. There's no emergency medical services in Travis County, Texas right now, other than what Grindstone's providing. There weren't any medical services in Hurricane Helene, other than what people like Grindstone were providing, or anywhere else we've been. So, your homework, again, write it down. Planning, training, resource management, and collaboration. What can you do? Where are your gaps? And then how do you fill those gaps?
I have a question that's kind of not related, but it is
Yeah.
related. Travis County, is that around Austin?
Yep.
So just so you know, when I worked in Vegas, Travis County EMS is one of the premier EMS agencies in the country. A lot of my friends went to, and if they were knocked out because of the floods, again, how are you going to prepare for that? And those guys are that agency is highly looked up to. So, and if they were taken out of the game, so that's crazy.
Yeah, Texas has its own TDEM, Texas Department of Emergency Management. They have their own strike forces, their strike teams, whatever they call them, and they're good. But again, mass casualty is any event that overwhelms the resources of the emergency management. Yep. Flood 3 or 4 counties all at the same time. I have a picture that I took while we were in that, there it is. while we were in that college in Kentucky, I was changing to baptize. And I look over, see what that is?
A book of emergency procedures buried in a shelf somewhere.
The book of emergency procedures, just
randomly underneath the spray bottle.
This was in the laundry room.
At the college.
At the college.
The laundry room.
Up. Where is it?
See
red
that?
book.
That little red book?
That little red binder.
Emergency procedures.
Emergency
The spray
procedures
bottle.
In the closet.
in the laundry room.
So you're just like sitting there, you just look over, you're like,
Well,
oh.
a picture says 1,000 words. The reason I show that is because most organizations have their emergency procedures not because they actually intend to use them, but because they are required by law
to have them in a
check
book.
the box.
Yep.
Yes, we have emergency procedures. Where are they? They're on the shelf underneath the Zep spray bottle in the laundry room in the red binder, I think. What? This is a college, yo.
Well, even you've told stories before on various grindstone appointments where you were at the EOC for these states and they're like couldn't find their book or it was so outdated because no one kept it up.
Yeah.
God, there was a car through the.
Well, yeah. So that was the Fairdealing Olive Fire Department, Hurricane Kentucky, Mayfield, Kentucky. Not a hurricane, tornado. Mayfield, Kentucky tornado. Sorry, brain, caffeine. The fire department that housed all the emergency procedure binders got hit by the tornado.
No backups.
And they were like, what do we do? Can we start with basic stuff? Let's establish a CCP, casualty collection point. Let's begin triage there. Let's do search and rescue. Let's do traffic control. Basic things like that. Who do we elevate to? Which goes back to how do we communicate? How do we talk to one another? Well, everybody's got radios. Are they charged? Are they programmed? Are they encrypted radios? Are they unencrypted radios? If they're not encrypted radios and we're on UHF, VHF, what frequencies are we using? Are there repeaters? Can we commandeer those repeaters from the local ham radio club, even though it's their repeater? The answer to that is technically yes in a state of emergency, but the disaster declaration hasn't come through yet. So who's the chairman for the repeater for the ham organization so we can get their permission to use a repeater? Like all these things, right? Because the binders are gone. Also, when's the last time you sat down and just read through binders of information and retained all of it while highly stressed? You don't.
This guy's bleeding. What do I do? Let me get the binder.
I need the binder. Where is it? It's in the laundry room. So, with that, we do have several upcoming classes. You can find them at refugemedical.com. If you have any questions, you can always call the store. You can shoot us an email. You can use the chat function on the website. That goes to real people. It could be Lauren, it could be Mike, it could be me.
I talked to someone yesterday that called. He said he was just happy that he could get it off of his chest about that family issue. And, I was like, hey, brother, whatever you need, we're here for you, And he was just like, man, I literally have a lump in my throat. I'm trying to stop myself from crying just because I feel like I'm wasting your time. And we've prayed with people on the phone before.
Yeah, we're people.
Yep, we people.
Yeah, we're
people-y.
We have tried to humanize every aspect of this organization. Is there a place for AI? Maybe. Do I want to teach the robots how to win in a war against humans? No, I've seen Terminator 2. I'm good on that. But we're people, and our products are for people. The whole point of these products and trainings is to get you home again. That's my unapologetic goal. Get you home again to your family. That's it. We're for the preservation of life. We're not for the preservation of shareholder earnings. We're not for the preservation of the business plan. We're not for the preservation of a really slick marketing campaign or strategic partnerships. We're for the preservation of life for people. And so if you need us, call us. email us, use the chat function on the website. We have tons of classes coming up, both public and private. We just added back the Radio Made Easy Zero to Hero and new Tactical Radio Operator. So Tactical Radio Operator is 2 days scenario-based radio training. Prereq for that is Zero to Hero. So if you haven't taken Zero to Hero, Evan will be back here in Oklahoma offering Zero to Hero days 1 and 2, and then Tactical Radio Operator days 3 and 4. Now, you may be asking yourself, why do I need this radio? Why is Refuge offering this radio? It's part of Elevate. It's part of the Ian March algorithm.
Ask the folks in North Carolina, that little that spot.
Bumpus Cove in Little Germany.
Yeah, Little Germany.
Yep. Little Germany. There's one guy was able to keep his community sustained with one 5-watt Baofeng radio, to the point where we were orchestrating helicopter drops because we were able to talk to him on the radio.
Didn't Dudley want to strike a dryer or a washing machine to his back or something, or a propane tank?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Well, they had no laundry, right?
Yeah.
And so compounding problems,
Yep.
right? Long-term survivability, compounding problems. Started with water, fuel, medicine. But anyway, so Zero to Hero Radio Operator, Tactical Radio Operator, and we are also doing an essential responder that same week. And so you can come for that week and train for 6 days on radio and medicine. Radio is really important. We run radios all the time. Commo is one of my 12 C's of survival, which builds on the 5 C's of survival and Dave Canterbury's 10 C's of survival, 12 C's of survival, one of which is commo. I got to have people to talk to, which from your emergency medical preparedness standpoint, collaboration, how are you going to collaborate? There's no logistics without communication. Those two go hand in hand. So we have Radio Made Easy coming back. We have Essential Responder. We have Wilderness Responder coming up the end of August. Strongly recommend you come to that class. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, I don't live in the wilderness. Wilderness medicine is defined as any medicine that is done more than 1 hour from definitive care.
It's just easier for us to put you out in the forest or the jungle, away from your concrete jungle, to give you a live experience of what it's going to be like if that ever happens in your big city. So if you're more than an hour away from the hospital, what if your car doesn't work? You still got to walk across town or downtown to the hospital. Same situation. We're just going to be in the trees doing it.
Well, and check this out. On the DoD side, if I don't have the golden hour, I'm now de facto in prolonged field care. Wilderness medicine is anything that takes place more than an hour from definitive care. It's almost the civilian version of prolonged field care. Almost. And I have a prolonged field care curriculum. We have a wilderness curriculum. I've been comparing notes back and forth. There are differences, but it's almost a civilian prolonged field care of we're more than an hour away from help. What do? That's wilderness medicine. And more than an hour away from help can be in a suburban area after I've called 911 and there's no ambulances and I'm waiting. Okay? So wilderness doesn't just mean we're in Moab, or I was just in Cody, Wyoming, at the foothill of Yellowstone National Park. Right, that's wilderness. But it also means an hour away from the hospital, and a whole bunch of y'all watching are an hour away from the hospital, or you are there regularly. And so, I mean, job site medicine. How many people, oil field, power construction industry, heavy civil construction, you're more than an hour from the hospital. That's de facto, that's technically wilderness medicine on the civilian side.
What was that property, the thing you were doing back in the day in
Oh
Texas?
my gosh.
8,000 square miles or whatever
King
it was?
Ranch and Kennedy Ranch. It was 1,600 square miles of job site. So much so that we had designated fly down yards for landing helicopters in a medical emergency, and to get a helicopter to us took about 75 minutes because we would have to radio in, They would have to receive that transmission. They would then have to spin up, go through their pre-flight checklists, all of that, then fly to us, then land the bird, then get the casualty onto the bird.
And then fly back to the big
And
city.
then fly back to the hospital. Yeah. And so there's lag time there. Point is, wilderness medicine, that class is coming up. You can find that at refugemedical.com. Any of the classes, if you need to make payments on them, just reach out to us or use a firm on the website. We're also running, because it's back to school season right now, 20% off all classroom kits. And so that's your desk kit, the kiddo kit, boo-boo, bleeding control station, as well, wall-mounted bleeding control stations, and BPKs, bleeding prevention kits. And there's the basic, intermediate, and advanced BPKs. All that's 20% off.
Code.
What's the code?
My brain just let go of it.
Code.
It's because I have codes living in my head.
Code
today.
what?
Code red, code 10.
Code school 20.
School 20.
Yeah.
SKUL 20.
Or SCHOOL 20.
People like the camping class idea, by the way. I've already got an email about it.
That's an
Okay.
indicator.
All right.
All right.
We're going to hold you to it.
Code school 20 for 20% off the desk kit, kiddo kit, boo-boo kit, bleeding control stations, and bleeding prevention kits, BPKs. Grab bags, we still have some grab bags in the store. What's a grab bag? It's $50, no questions asked, for any of our sewn kits. And so we have various different sewn kits that people would call them like factory seconds. Our sew shop is so good that when they're making one of these and the stitching is supposed to be this way and it's 2 degrees off from that, they're like, nope, reject. Functionally, there's nothing wrong with them. You may be hard pressed to even find aesthetically what's wrong with them. But they collect in a bin, and when the bin gets full, I say, hey, do a grab bag. And so we got a grab bag going on. There's some grab bag kits left. They're $50 a piece, which for American-made ballistic nylon is unheard of. And the gamut runs from little boo-boo kit pouches all the way up to adventure bags. I don't know what's in there. We've also had people write in and try and put their thumb on the scale and say, hey, if I buy a grab bag, can you make sure that I get a red adventure kit? No, it doesn't work
There's
that
also
way.
some old leather stuff in there, too.
There is some leather stuff in there.
Yeah.
And then last but certainly not least, we have 2 Refuge training partner classes coming up. This is Al and Nick.
Good people.
Love these guys, great guys, and they're doing classes in Indiana. And so if you're in Indiana and you want to come to a Refuge class, Al and Nick will be teaching August 23rd, one-day event, the Refuge Responder, and September 6th and 7th, the Essential Responder, the 2-day class. And so if you're in Indiana or Indiana's closer to you than Oklahoma and you want to come to class, go ahead and hop on refugemedical.com under the training tab. You can find those classes.
They're teaching the same thing we do.
Yep, same curriculum. They've gone through train the trainer with us. They've been to many classes with us. We talk to them, I think, at least weekly. Great guys. They have a pre-existing training company, and they've bolted on Refuge to their pre-existing training company, which is exactly how Train the Trainer works. And so we also have a Train the Trainer class in the store in November. I think we're doing Train the Trainer again. Had overwhelming response to the first T3 class that we did.
However, there's a prerequisite.
However, there's a prereq. If you've never been to class, you can't just come to Train the Trainer. So if you want to come to Train the Trainer, you have to come to one of our other classes. Like I said, call if you have a question or shoot us an email. But try not to make things too complicated, but I can't train you on a curriculum you never experienced before. So you have to experience the curriculum first, and then we'll train you on it. After we train you on that, you can either be a Refuge community training partner, community trainer, which means you can train anybody you want. You leave with our curriculum and our infrastructure. You have access to us. And if you want to train your school, your church, your mutual assistance group, your fire department, your police agency, whatever, you can go do that. That's fine. Here's the curriculum. Here's our blessing. Call if you need help with anything. You also get a wholesale account with us, so kits, training aids, all that, all wholesale. And then there's Refuge Training Partner, which is I am training people, but it's for profit. I'm going to charge for my classes. In which case, we host the classes at our website. We talk about the classes. We serve as a pipeline for you as part of your media and marketing strategy to let people know that you exist, so that unapologetically we can save lives. That's what we're about. We're here for people, to save people's lives to the best of our ability. So that's it. Had 2 more aid renders come in. Kiddo kit used on a dad. Lots of kids and parents and bystanders getting helped with first aid kits out there that came from Refuge. Make sure you have a kit, a real one. Make sure you know how to use it. If you have any questions, call the store, shoot us an email, hit the chat. School 20 for 20% off all the back to school kits, upcoming classes all over the training tab. And I'll talk with the team about a Camping 101 class. Don't hold your breath. We're very, very, very busy right now. Lauren.
I was just doing dance move. We're good.
We're good.
Yep.
That's the show, everybody. We'll see you when we see you.
Shalom.
Shalom.